It was Tuesday night. Nothing dramatic had happened that day, really, but I remember gripping the steering wheel in the parking lot, jaw tight, chest heavy. Wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I was just exhausted. Not from what I was doing, but from how tightly I was trying to control every aspect of my life. And when I say every aspect, I mean every aspect. Every outcome, every conversation, every single plan. I had built my life like a game of Jenga, trying to keep everything perfectly in place so nothing would fall. But that day I realized I was the one falling apart. And that was the moment something shifted in me. And it wasn't like I had this grand revelation, but because I finally ran out of energy to hold it all together. That is when I began learning one of life's most powerful lessons. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. If you've been carrying too much, trying too hard, constantly planning and managing, micromanaging, this message is for you. Let's talk about why the peace you're chasing is on the other side of surrender. Control isn't what you think it is. You might not call yourself a control freak, but let me ask you this. Do you panic when plans change? Do you get thrown off when outcomes aren't predictable? Do you replay conversations thinking of what you should have said? That's control. And it's confusing because control often can come wearing the disguise of responsibility. I'm just being responsible. But the brutal truth is, control is an emotional crutch. And when you grip it too tightly, it will rob you of joy, creativity, presence, and peace. Think of life like a river. You can build your raft, you can steer, but if you try to dam the river or swim against it, guess what's gonna happen? You gonna drown, baby. That's what I was doing, and maybe that's what you are doing too. Letting go isn't giving up, it's getting free. We've been taught that letting go means we've stopped caring. But what if it actually means we care deeply, just not destructively? Letting go means you stop forcing the timelines that aren't working. You stop trying to change people who don't want to grow, realizing that it is a full-time job to change yourself. You stop obsessing over how something should happen and open your hands to how it might. Releasing control is how we create space for alignment. It's the moment where you say, all right, I've done my part. Now I trust the process. And that kind of trust is where peace begins. There are three things that have helped me let go without losing myself. And I don't want you to get this wrong because this isn't about just floating aimlessly through life. It's about being grounded and strategic, yet still allowing yourself room to breathe. Few things that help. Number one, the 90-10 rule. I've heard it say that 90% of life is out of your control. That would mean that 10% of life is in your control. So we need to focus all of our energy on the 10%. The 10% looks like the words that we speak, the routines that we have in place, our reactions or our responses, and our energy that we bring to life every day. When you stop trying to fix everything else and focus on you, you're going to be astounded at how fast things change. Number two, emotional decluttering. What are you still carrying that's no longer yours to hold? For someone, it's guilt. For someone else watching me, it's expectations. For someone else, it's old ambitions that don't fit you anymore. Start emotionally decluttering the way you clean out your closets in the spring. And upon doing that, you're going to realize with every release, you make room for peace. Number three, create without control. Not everything you start has to be perfect or predictable. I began creating things, ideas, videos, conversations, without clinging to how they'll be received. And it was wildly freeing. Control stifles your gifting, while letting go sets them free to do what they're supposed to do, to reach who they're supposed to reach. Here's what they don't tell you. Letting go doesn't just change how you feel, it changes what you attract. When you stop chasing people, the right ones come closer. When you stop forcing outcomes, new doors start to open. When you stop obsessing over how things look, you finally get to experience how they feel. Surrender doesn't shrink your life, it expands it. Because when you stop trying to write the entire script, you start living the story. We live in a culture that has idolized hustle, perfection, control, but some of the strongest people are the ones who know how to say, I'm tired of carrying this alone. I got to give it up. This timeline doesn't serve me anymore. I'm going to choose peace over pressure today. And the thing is, you don't have to win every battle. You won't. You don't have to fix every detail. You won't. And sometimes you just have to know when to hold tight and when to exhale. There's a story about a chess grandmaster who was mentoring a young prodigy. The student obsessed over controlling every move, predicting every outcome, memorizing every possibility. But dude kept losing. One day he's playing the master, and the master is whipping his tail, boy. The kid's getting frustrated. And the master leaned in and whispered, your problem is that you're trying to win with control, but the game is won with flow. Strategy, yes, but also rhythm, feel, trust. He continued to tell the young prodigy, you're not playing the board, you're fighting it. What about you? Are you playing the board today or are you fighting it? What are you white knuckling right now in life? Are you forcing relationships? Are you forcing a business plan? Are you forcing a version of your future that no longer feels aligned? You don't need to abandon your goals, but maybe, just maybe, you need to stop trying to force them into shape. Let go. Let go of the stress. Let go of the script. Let go of the need to control that which was never in your hands in the first place. And I promise you that when you do it, you're not going to lose power. You're going to reclaim it. There was a man holding a rope in a tug-of-war contest. On the other end was a machine pulling with relentless force. It's a machine. The man kept pulling back, gripping tighter, trying not to fall. But the harder he pulled, the more the rope burned through his hands. He was losing, and he was losing fast. Then a voice behind him said, "Let go." He paused, confused, afraid. "Let go." The voice said it again. So he did. And when he let go, he stopped being dragged. He was able to stand upright. He was able to see clearly what was happening. And it was in that moment that he realized the rope wasn't the only way forward. It was the thing holding him back. So let me ask you, what rope are you still holding on to? What outcome are you holding on to so tightly that it is burning through your peace? Maybe it's time to let it go. The man that was in the tug of war, he wouldn't let it go because letting it go means losing. He didn't realize that letting it go means he's no longer burning his hands up. You're not giving up, but you're letting go to grow. You're letting go so that life can bring more abundance your way. And if it looks like you're losing the tug of war contest, maybe you lose that small battle, but you win the battle that changes your life for the rest of your life. And here's my challenge for you this week. Identify one area where your need for control is causing you anxiety. Then take one small step toward surrender. It might be a conversation you've been holding on to, a plan you've been clinging to, or an outcome you've been obsessing over. Let go just a little and make space for all the good to flow in, because the peace you've been chasing is waiting on the other side of your surrender. Always remember that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.